far down to paradise. At least it's not for me. And if the wind is right, you can sail away and find tranquility. Oh, the canvas can do miracles. Just you wait and see. Believe me. It's not far to Never Never Land. No reason to pretend. And if the wind is right, you can find the joy of innocence again. Oh, the canvas can do miracles. Just you wait and see. Believe me. Sailing takes me away to where I've always heard it. Just a dream of the wind to carry me. Soon I will be free. Fantasy, it gets the best of me when I'm sailing. All caught up in the reverie. Every word is a symphony. Won't you believe me? Sailing takes me away to where I've always heard it. Just a dream of the wind to carry me. Soon I will be free. Well, it's not far back to Santa Cruz. At least it's not for me. And if the wind is right, you can sail away and find serenity. Oh, the canvas can do miracles. Just you wait and see. Then you believe me. Sailing takes me away to where I've always heard it could be. Just a dream of the wind to carry me. Soon I will be free.
What a
I mean-
sound. I mean, that's like the end of every 80s sitcom theme song.
Oh my God. Hello.
Here we are, Jewel K.
I know we have on our smooth vibes.
Yeah,
now.
it's weird because like that
Yeah.
song just put me into a mood. You know what I mean?
Yes.
We are here for another episode of What You Say with Jewel K.
And Dr. Ras Mikey C.
And
I think you
today
can probably hear my smile through. Sorry, I think you
I
can probably hear
can.
my smile
I
through
can.
the microphone. I'm so excited.
Today's episode of What You Say with Jewel K and Dr. Ras Mikey C. What is our episode about today, Jewel K?
It's about Yacht Rock.
Yacht Rock.
Yes.
And you
I'm so
just
excited.
heard one of the classic Yacht Rock songs by Christopher Cross. But Yacht Rock is such an essential a part of popular culture and popular music.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
oftentimes gets brushed under the rug for the contribution that they've made to the musical industry. Jewel, why don't you tell the listeners how we decided to come to speak about this topic?
Okay, so the way that we started this was like, okay, we were gonna do, which we still will, do a show about like the music, like different songs that we like. and just talk about them, play them, da 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 da. And when we were talking about it over the phone, I was like, you know what? I was like, I really love Yacht Rock. And you were like, of course you do, Jewel. Of course you do. And I'm like, you know what, motherfucker, you know what? I love my white half. Okay.
And it's funny because I didn't say that, but you know what?
I knew it. I knew that's what you were insinuating.
This is what I love you. Yeah, this is why I love you, because when I said, of course you did, it much like bless her heart, it was a slight, and you caught the slight, but I wasn't going to say it directly.
I knew
there's
what
a partiality to why you like Yacht Rock. But continue.
Yes, I'm very much in touch with my white half, and I love it. I fucks with it hard. Okay,
yes,
so
okay.
yes, I love Yacht Rock because it's like, honestly, I actually have a on my Spotify and my Pandora station, I have a Yacht Rock station. I love to, like, if I'm going for a drive, like, there's nothing better to listen to than Yacht Rock when you're riding up the PCH. Are you kidding me? Like, and I've listened to Yacht Rock on a yacht a couple of times. So no, I'm with it. 10 toes down. All about Yacht Rock.
I love it. I mean, it's essential. I think this is a part of what we talked about in other shows, growing up 80s, Yacht Rock is an essential part of your being. You know what I mean?
Sure.
You can't have watched an 80s sitcom and not have heard a Yacht Rock as
or movie
as the theme song. The first song that comes to mind is Three's Company.
Oh, that show is
and then like
controversial.
Yeah, I know. And so many layers. Like things that you could get away with in the 80s that just really wouldn't fly right now. We need to do a whole podcast.
That's another show. Yep,
another show about that. But the other song that really, to me, is like the epitome of Yacht Rock television shows is Growing Pains.
Oh, yes.
Not Growing Pains. I'm sorry. I had Growing Pains. No. For Growing Pains is good, but even more so Yacht Rock than Growing Pains is Family Ties.
You know, when you said
what
Growing
would we
Pains,
do, baby? I know you were thinking about Family Ties.
Yes, I was. I saw the mom's hair and everything.
We share a brain because I was thinking Family Ties, but said Growing Pains.
I absolutely, yeah. Oh,
what would we do, baby? Sha-la-la-la. Like, come on. Yes. Come on, Yacht Rock.
I was knocking my headphones off.
Come through Yacht Rock with Family Ties. Oh, gosh. Yes. Shout out to Michael J. Fox, who is still thriving and surviving with all of his health circumstances. And again, one of those people who was so influential in growing up 80s. Yeah. It's just really challenging to see him in the physical disposition that he's in currently. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, I think Abella was saying yesterday, she saw him on something. She's like, look at him. He's not getting any better. And I'm like, did you expect him to get better?
I mean, yeah. So.
It's a debilitating thing. Anyway, Yacht Rock.
Yes. Oh, my gosh. So, okay. When we talk about Yacht Rock, let's talk about, let's just go ahead and get, let the cat out of the bag. I mean, the person you think of when you think about Yacht motherfucking Rock is
me?
Michael McDonald.
Michael McDonald.
Yes.
Dunzo.
That's it.
Dunzo.
1,000 out of 10. Like,
yeah. Hands
that's
down.
the dude. Yeah.
Yes.
So I have a funny story. Go ahead.
No, before you tell the funny story about Michael McDonald, I need you to give me some reference to what Juan said about particular artists because that was also a part of our conversation as to why we wanted to do a show about Yacht Rock.
We were watching the documentary.
Oh, so this was recent.
Yeah.
Okay.
He was just like, no, I think they panned to some people, or maybe it was like the series that fake series about Yacht Rock. I think that's what it was. Like they did a cut to the fake series, which is where the term Yacht Rock originated.
Right.
And so he was looking at those actors, and because we didn't know about the series yet, he was like,
all of them look broke.
All those people look broke. Soft rock is not played for people who look like that. I was like,
it's true. It's usually more associated with the upper epsilon. I mean, especially why it's called Yacht Rock.
Yacht Rock,
I mean,
yeah.
And I'm glad that you brought up the documentary because that just reinforced. I didn't even know there was a documentary
Mm-hmm.
until you said you wanted to do a show about Yacht Rock.
Mm-hmm.
And then somehow I realized that there was a Yacht Rock documentary. I don't know if you told me or it just kind of, you know,
I can't remember. I don't know.
it's
I
one
don't
of
know
those.
that I told you, but I had
I
already,
don't think,
when I found out about it, I pinned it. I definitely pinned it like a while ago. Yeah.
yeah, I don't think you told me, but I think when you mentioned Yacht Rock, you know, how I start doing research and then somehow it popped up somewhere on my feed that there was this Yacht Rock documentary.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, wait, I have to watch this. And
Yeah.
so I did. And I
How
was
did you
pleasantly
enjoy it?
surprised. I did.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, I was multitasking while I was watching it,
Yeah.
but at the same time, it was very insightful and reaffirming. You know, I think, again,
Mm-hmm.
growing up in the 80s as a kid, you don't realize how much that was like the soundtrack to your life.
Mm-hmm.
You know, everywhere you went, when you went into an office building, when you're waiting on hold on a phone call, when
Right.
you're in an
Yeah.
elevator.
Yes.
You know
On
what I
hold
mean?
on a
Like,
phone call. Yes.
exactly.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it was such an integral part of our upbringing in the 80s. And it's nice to see that they are essentially immortalizing Yacht Rock in a
Yeah.
way to make sure that people understand its influence and
Yes.
where it's gone since then, you know?
Right. Well, the other thing that I really liked about the documentary, because I was hoping that it wasn't going to just like skip past it or skirt past it, is the influence of all of the Black music that made Yacht Rock possible. You know what I
And
mean?
yeah.
Jazz, rock, R&B, soul. You know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
all of these genres were created by Black artists.
Hmm.
And so I was hoping that, and of course they did. Of course they, what I mean, gave like, shout outs and talked about like their influences. And so in addition to learning about all of these premier artists of Yacht Rock, I love that they really talked about, those artists also talked about their influences and who inspired them.
Exactly. I mean, because we all stand on the shoulders of the people that came before us.
Yeah.
And much like how you said, it is very important to mention the shift of the influence of African and African Americans and Black people
Hmm.
into popular culture. And I think
Hmm.
that's what shifted Yacht Rock into what we call Yacht Rock,
Hmm.
is this R&B, this jazz, in
Hmm.
contrast with the hard rock that existed prior to Yacht Rock.
Hmm.
They were trying to find a happy median. And I think a lot of the musicians in the documentary, they all say that they were jazz musicians
Hmm.
that loved
Yes.
rock and
Yes.
R&B, but didn't
Hmm.
necessarily want to play it in that way. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And we're trying
Hmm.
to find something that could really enhance their jazz abilities, but then
Hmm.
also had a popular sound and was palatable for people that don't necessarily know the culture of jazz.
But that's why all of those musicians were able to play with all of each other in different bands and on different albums and pick up everything super fast, because in order to know and to play jazz, you have to be able to do that.
Yeah, and that was it made me think about my alma mater, the University of the Arts, and how the
Hmm.
focus of our music program was jazz. And I
Mm.
remember speaking to a drummer friend of mine who was, you know, studying music. He was like, yeah, they focus on us learning jazz because if you can play jazz, you can pretty much play anything,
Hmm.
you know,
Hmm.
because jazz is one of those all-encompassing genres to where
Hmm.
you have to learn the elements of all other styles of music in order to play jazz.
Jazz is, yeah, yeah, and jazz is probably the most difficult to play, because you have to be able to know it, and you also have to be able to improvise really, really well, and that's not the case for most genres of music.
You know what that's called, though, Jewel?
Not-
African.
Yeah.
Polyrhythmics,
Yes,
polyrhythms,
yes,
all that
yes.
stuff comes from the continent of Africa, and
Hmm.
that's
Hmm.
the reason why it was so complex. Is the multiplicity of rhythms that go into jazz,
Hmm.
and you know when you think about Western music or European music, it's not as polyrhythmic. It's
Hmm.
kind of
Hmm.
it has one rhythm that you just kind
Hmm.
of
Hmm.
follow, and you know.
Yeah. You keep
So
that, and then in this sense, then you switch it up a little bit there, but then you go back and yeah, yeah, yeah. Hmm. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying that, so we just heard Sailing by Christopher Cross. And because that is such a classic yacht rock song, I thought that it was a great way to introduce this particular show. But now that we in the show,
Now that we in this.
now that we in this motherfucker, what we gonna play next, Jew? What we gonna expose the people to
Oh.
next?
Oh, okay. Well, I sent you a whole list. I'm gonna let you pick because I want to do. I just want you to know that I want to do Ambrosia a little bit later.
Okay, that's fine. What would I like to hear?
What about Peg?
We can go with Peg.
Steely Dan's Peg.
Steely Dan's Peg. Why though? Why do you want to?
Because I feel like it's another one of those like this is yacht rock, legit.
Here we go.
You know what I mean? But it's not Michael McDonald because I want to get it Michael McDonald.
Steely Dan's Peg from their Aja album. That's funky.
Dude, can I tell you, I didn't even know this song's title was Peg for the longest time.
I seen your picture, your name in lights above it. This is your big debut. It's like a dream come true. So won't you smile for the camera? I know they're gonna love it. Peg, I like your pin shot. I keep it with your letter, done up in blueprint blue. It sure looks good on you. And when you smile for the camera, I know I love you better. Peg, it will come back to you. Peg, it will come back to you. Then the shutter falls. You see it all revealed. It's your favorite foreign movie. I like your picture. I keep it with your letter, done up in blueprint blue. It sure looks good on you. And when you smile for the camera, I know I love you better. Peg, it will come back to you. Peg, it will come back to you. Then the shutter falls. You see it all revealed. It's your favorite foreign movie. It will come back to you. Peg, it will come back to you. Then the shutter falls. You see it all revealed. It's your favorite foreign movie. It will come back to you. Peg, it will come back to you. Then the shutter falls. You see it all revealed. It's your favorite foreign movie. It will come back to you. Peg, it will come back to you. Then the shutter falls. You see it all revealed. It's your favorite foreign movie.
What's funny to me is that I know Steely Dan, the name of the band, more than I know their music.
Oh, for sure.
You know what I mean? Like it's one
Yeah.
of those names that you remember, But I couldn't even tell you. I didn't even, recognize the song we was playing Peg. But then once we played it, it's like, oh yeah, I know this song.
Well, because I didn't even know that the name of the song was Peg until maybe like a few years ago when I saw like the title come up in my car, and I was like, who the fuck is Peg? Or what the fuck is Peg? And I was like, because I think that in my brain, the name of the song was probably like, hey, I'm coming back to you. You know what I mean? Or something. Because like that's
Yeah, you make
like
up
I'm now.
the lyric that you hear the most is what you start to call the song.
Yeah. Oh
Good song
man.
though. Good song.
Yeah. Super dope.
It's funky. Like that's what I said in the beginning. It has a real funky get down to it.
Yeah. So I want to tell you, if you're ready to listen,
Oh my
this
gosh.
story.
Gone girl. Tell the story.
So Maya and I were in the car on the PCH. Maya likes to listen to The Wave because she thinks she's an octogenarian. And the guy she was dating at the time, and this is important for the story, he's Cambodian and German. And do you know any Cambodians? Are you friends with Cambodians or?
Not directly, not anybody I can think of at the top of my head, but I'm sure I know one or two,
So Cambodians, I think they're more like Southern Black people of Asia, like their food is like that. It's really good.
They ain't
Flavorful.
more Southern Black than Filipinos, though. Let's be clear.
No, but it's but
But similar
it's
though. I understand. I do get with the reference.
The food
yeah,
is
their
a
food
little
is
more
very, very soulful.
And they like to drink Hennessy at weddings. Like no, like it's legit. Like one of my dearest friends, Sarai, like she's like they put like cases of Hennessy underneath the table at weddings.
I believe
like it's legit. So anyway, keep that in mind. So Rich is Cambodian and German, and he's from Florida, so extra, whatever. So he's sitting in the back listening to The Wave, and Anita Baker's playing, and I say to Maya, I'm like, Anita Baker's like the Black female version of Michael McDonald. This is the way that they sing, right?
Wow.
And you get it, right? Now you can't unhear it.
Well, the thing is, again, I never thought of Anita Baker and her music in relationship to Yacht Rock. But again, I feel like she's one of those artists that would have influenced Yacht Rock,
Yeah.
as opposed to Yacht Rock influencing her.
Yeah,
she probably worked with those Yacht Rock artists to produce her music. Go ahead.
No, but like, don't you like that correlation? Mine, I like to play that game. But anyway, Rich is in the back and he's like, what? And he's like, Michael McDonald is white? And he just...
No, but he talks about that in the documentary, Michael McDonald. I think for many of us growing up Black in the 80s, we didn't know Michael McDonald was white. Like most people didn't really know because we didn't see him. And because of the fact that like even he said on the documentary, it was the Black radio stations that first started to play their music. Yeah. So if I'm listening to Black radio, you assume that everybody that you hear on Black radio is Black. Side story.
Well, hold on, I'm not finished with mine.
Okay, go ahead.
So Rich is crying in the back. He's crying, laughing. He's like, I can't believe. Yes, because he's like, I can't believe. He's like, I have to rethink my whole life. He's like, he's got a beard. He was like, oh my God, he was getting all the bitches. And he was like, what? He's like crying real tears. Mind you, he's like 6'3", right? Like built dude. You know what I mean? He's not like, like he's just like, it totally shattered everything in his head. And I think that he was at the time, because he was a little bit older than me, he was like probably like 35. He had no idea. So please carry on. Go ahead.
That's hilarious. This is a great story. I wonder where the guy is now and how he feels about Michael McDonald.
I have to ask Maya.
And the Anita
But dude, remember like Michael McDonald did that song with Patti LaBelle,
I have to. Yeah, I know he did. I can see the video, but I can't remember the song. You know
Don't
what
worry.
I mean?
Go ahead. You keep talking. Tell me your story. I'll pull it up.
I don't remember what my story was. I don't know what we were talking about.
Michael McDonald finding out that he was white, like being on the Black radio stations.
Oh, yeah. Side note. You assume that everybody that's on the Black radio station is Black, right? So I grew up in the DMV, in the DC area, and I grew up on DC radio. We had WHUR, which was one R&B station, and then we had our first real hip hop station was WPGC 95.5. And the dude who was the main host for most of the shows that I listened to growing up in the 80s and the 90s was Al B.D. And I think the majority of black people that listened to WPGC 95 thought that Al B.D. was black, but he wasn't. He was a fat white dude. You know what I mean?
I love it.
And again, like when you see the person, it like, man, that's really what this guy looked like. That just totally shifts my whole perception of what he's been feeding me all these years.
No, because he must have had like a super smooth voice.
No, he didn't. He didn't. It wasn't like he sounded black. He sounded urban enough, but it wasn't like he had a deep voice or anything like that. It was kind of nasally and a little bit, sharp. But, again, the context.
Yeah.
We don't see the people on radio. We don't have no context of what they look like. We're not watching it. It's not the days of social media didn't exist then, so we didn't see what these people look like. I
didn't know Bobby Caldwell was white until I was like probably in my late 20s. I had no idea.
Hilarious. I want to get into another song.
Yes.
And I want to talk about this group after we play their song and talk about this group in relationship to popular culture. So the song that I'm going to play is called Africa. Who is it by?
Toto.
See, she going to win the Jeopardy, what did they call it? The category.
Yes. Oh, for
Yacht
sure.
Rock.
Man.
Jewel K is Yacht Rock for 3,000.
Yes.
So she's won the prize, Alex.
Baby.
Rest in power, Alex Trebek. Again, growing up 80s, Alex Trebek. You ain't know
Everybody
nothing.
was questioning. Everybody was like, he's mixed. He's gotta be mixed. Like,
we didn't know what. Nah, I assumed that Alex was Latin. Like, honestly, I thought he was Latino. Like,
really?
I did. I didn't think he was black, but he was a staple in my understanding of intellect.
Yeah, of course.
In the 80s,
everybody's. Yeah.
So here we go with Africa from Toto. They bring you right into it. I do too, Jewel. I do too. But this is the 80s.
Yes, I know.
Hear the drums echoing tonight, and she hears only whispers of some quiet conversation. She's coming in 12:30 flight. The moonlit wings reflect the stars that guide me towards salvation.
No sense though. The synthesizers is everything.
Yep.
Hoping to find some old forgotten words or ancient melodies. He turned to me as if to say, hurry boy, it's waiting there for you.
I know. We didn't go in this. You can't love it.
There's nothing that 100 men or more could ever do. I bless the rains down in Africa. We're gonna take some time to do the things we never The wild dogs cry out in the night as they grow restless, longing for some solitary company. I know that I must do what's right, sure as Kilimanjaro rises like Olympus above the Serengeti. I seek to cure what's deep inside, frightened of this thing that I've become. It's gonna take a lot to drag me away from you. There's nothing that 100 men or more could ever do. I bless the rains down in Africa. We're gonna take some time to do the things we never had.
tell you, I feel like 80s music in a lot of ways is really defined by how much they used the synthesizer and the keyboard.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Everything was built, like even the xylophone like that's a keyboard. That is somebody, that's not somebody really playing the xylophone.
They're just like, you know what this is missing? Synthesizer. Like, you know what I mean? Like more cowbell, more synthesizer.
Oh man. So in the 80s, there was no sense of cultural appropriation. So a song like Africa by a group named Toto could hit the Billboard 100s and rock out for a while.
I think it was their only number one song.
Probably.
On top of all that, there's a group of white guys who've also never been to Africa at that point.
See, but there's so many layers as to why this song is so inappropriate. But again, growing up 80s, there was no PC. There's no political correctness.
But when you get to the chorus, you're just like, this shit rocks, this shit bangs.
But that's the thing. The song, you listening to the lyrics of the verse, but the once the chorus hits, it is undeniably an amazing song because they hit those harmonies and you know, sounding like arena rock and dope tune. But again, that notion of appropriation in relationship to these white men who made this song kind of reminds me of that video that I sent you with the little kids celebrating the slaves.
Slaves!
Yay, slaves! What?
He said, he looked at me as if to say, boy, hurry.
I know.
And I was like, oh, God.
It's waiting. Hey, boy, it's waiting there for you. It's like, he looked, that means he was speaking a language that you didn't understand. So first of all, Jew was like, they hadn't even been to Africa by the time they wrote this song. So who was he talking about? Like, where did he get the story from? Yeah, he probably was sitting on a block somewhere in the city. Sitting on a block in the city. Wherever he was, wherever the Yacht Rock city was, like watching some dude that was black, looking at him, making a gesture to, maybe he could have been black Latino, you know, speaking a different language. And he must have gestured to him and say, hey, go this way. It's waiting there for you. It's like, I'm challenged when I actually sit and listen to the lyrics of the verses. But again, undeniably a great song in terms of its composition. Yeah. You know, and I think with Yacht Rock, a lot of times, I don't necessarily hear the words. Let me speak for myself. I feel the vibe.
Yes.
You know, I feel
But that's what Yacht Rock is. Yacht Rock. Okay. So the group of friends who created that web series, Yacht Rock, that's why I believe it. The show, shout out to JD Resner. I believe that's why the phrase was coined. And now it's like, this is what everyone refers to it as instead of soft rock, is because it's all about the vibe. It's all about the vibe.
And this is why people show up to Yacht Rock shows with the captain's hat and looking like sailors, like they just jumped off the Love Boat.
Right. Another problematic thing, but go ahead.
I know. And the funny thing is that, you know, in the documentary, a lot of these Yacht Rock artists say that none of us own the yacht.
Yeah, like the guy from Toto was just like, he was like, I never even had yacht money. He's like, where's my yacht? Run me my yacht.
Run me my yacht. I wonder why. I need to do some research, or we need to do some research to figure out why they decided to call their band Toto. Because, you know, growing up 80s, the only Toto that we would have known was Toto from
Wizard of Oz.
Exactly. Why are you going to name yourself after a dog?
I mean, why did Steely Dan name themselves Steely Dan?
Well,
you know?
Well, first of all, like, I don't really know what Steely Dan mean, nor do I know what Toto mean. But I do know what the Doobie Brothers mean. I do know what a doobie is. But before we shift gears and talk more about Doobie Brothers and Michael McDonald, I want to stay on Toto for a second, because in the documentary, there was a revelation that I had, not realizing how important these Yacht Rock artists were to one of I'll throw us both into the category, our favorite artist, Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
And to hear Quincy Jones, like the amazing, rest in power Quincy Jones, talk about how they were my session musicians. He's like,
Yeah.
I hired them to come in and play on this track and this song and this song. And then you go back and listen to the songs and you're like, wow,
Yeah.
this really does have yacht rock appeal.
Man, because like when he was talking about how it was one member of Toto, then it was another member, then like it ended up being like the entire band was
Right.
playing, you know, on the Thriller album, which is amazing.
And singing backup vocals and
Yes.
everything. You know what I mean?
Man,
Which makes me think about how much Michael probably and Quincy probably liked yacht rock, probably liked the type of music that they were producing.
Yeah.
But again, Quincy's a jazz guy, so he's hiring people that can play jazz type music, that understand the polyrhythms of jazz and can layer things in a way that's just going to make it really, really melodic. I was really fascinated to hear that the group members from Toto were involved in so many of the songs that were produced for Off the Wall and Thriller. And
I mean,
go
and
ahead.
then hearing that, like, I think what you're gonna get to is hearing the demo track for one of those songs.
That I was getting ready to talk about. In the documentary, they do play the original demo track for Human Nature. And I think most people think because they don't read the credits, you know, for CDs or albums, most fans will think that the artist is writing these songs. He's going to get writing credits because maybe he added some words and finessed it a little bit. But a lot of times, especially with pop artists, they're not writing these songs. And with that song specifically, I just assumed that was a song that Michael and Quincy Jones developed because it was so important about human nature. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, me too.
Meanwhile,
Absolutely.
it was some white dude from Toto who wrote Africa, who wrote Human Nature and thought the song was like, it's okay. And then
he liked the song, but everyone else in the band was like, nah.
Yeah. And then what was it? Quincy heard it like on a whim.
By mistake. Yeah.
Exactly. And they were like, nah. And so he got to reproduce his demo, which the band never wanted to do.
Right.
And
but it's like, but the demo, I mean, like, it sounds damn near exactly like the song. I mean, like, Michael put his thing on it, like, let's be clear.
Of course.
You know, but yeah, I mean, it wasn't far off. It wasn't like you could like, oh, if you squint your eyes, you can see it, you know? It was there. It was 100%.
No, it was right there, 100% there. So I think it's a good time for us to play Human Nature.
Yes.
Yeah, let's get into that. Tell me why. Straight from the gate, you hear it.
Yeah.
Yacht Rock at its finest.
Baby.
Won't hold me tonight. If this town is just an apple, then let me take a bite. If they say why, tell them that it's human nature. Why does it do it that way? If they say why, tell them that it's human nature. Why
sure the guy from Toto did not do that part though.
Only Michael could do that.
Yeah.
Woo, what a classic MJ tune. But wasn't written by him. Made famous by him.
I mean, we would not know that song if Quincy wasn't like, hey, you guys are super talented artists. Y'all know how to like find a pocket and figure out some shit super fast. So come on over here and play on this album.
and we would not have had the SWV version of the song.
I know that Toto they couldn't in their wildest dreams have thought that this
Sisters
trio,
with Voices.
Yeah, where this song started would have gotten to all these places.
Right.
You know?
But I also don't think that Sisters with Voices, SWV, would have done this song had not Michael Jackson made it famous.
These are facts.
I don't think it would have made it down the pipeline to SWV
No.
some 30 years later.
I don't think they would have pulled a Warren G and been like, you know what?
God, thank you. Because now I'm feeling like, what's his name? LL Cool J. Because on Rock the Bells radio, they salute the sample. And most people don't necessarily know the original song for Regulators.
That is so wild to me. Well, I mean, the only way I feel like you couldn't know is if you didn't grow up in the 80s and 90s. Because, I mean, like, Michael McDonald was still being played on the radio.
Yeah, but again, I think that song came out in 82. Yeah. And Regulators came out in like the mid-late 90s. So yeah, we would have known.
Yeah.
Plus, we grow up in hip-hop, so we know that everything is sampled.
Yeah,
but I mean, like, kids who were born in the 2000s.
Oh, yeah.
That know the Regulator song, they're not going to know the reference to Michael McDonald.
Yeah. I mean, because like the thing about it is that we know this music. It's not because we were like going to the record store.
Nope.
You know, like picking up albums. We were listening to music in our parents' car, in our parents' houses, in our, you know, in somebody's mom.
The doctor's office.
Right. The doctor's office. The doctor's office. Well, no, true. You know, so
like the stuff I was saying earlier, the elevator on the phone, on hold. Like, that's where I feel like I heard it the most. You know what I mean? Yeah. It was definitely passe when I was growing up. It wasn't daytime play music, you know? So I think because you brought that up, we're going to salute the sample right now, and we're going to play I Keep Forgetting by Michael McDonald, and then we're going to play Regulators so people can hear that connection. Regulators! Mount Up, featuring Nate Dogg. Coming in real smooth and sexy like.
Dude, yeah. This is probably why everybody thought Michael McDonald was black.
That's what I'm saying. He said the first people to play this music was the black radio stations.
I keep forgetting we're not in love anymore. I keep forgetting things will never be the same again. I keep forgetting how you made that so clear. I keep forgetting every time you're near, every time I see your smile, hear your hello, saying you can only stay a while. And I know that it's hard for you to say the things we both know are true. But tell me, how come I keep forgetting we're not in love anymore? I keep forgetting things will never be the same again. I keep forgetting how you made that so clear. I keep forgetting, babe. Every time I hear how you never want to live a lie, how it's gone too far, and you don't have to tell me why. Why you gone, and why the game is through? If this is what's real, if this is what's true.
regulators. We regulate any stealing of his property. We're damn good, too. But you can't be any geek off the street.
And then they flipped it like this.
Regulators! Mount up.
It was a clear black night, a clear white moon. Warren G was on the streets trying to consume some skirts for the E, so I could get some phones. Rolling in my ride, chilling all alone.
Just hit the east side of the LBC on a mission trying to find Mr. Warren G. Seen a car full of girls, ain't no need to tweak. All of you search know what's up with 213.
So I hooked select on 21 and Lewis. Some brothers shooting dice, so I said, let's do this. I jumped out the ride and said, what's up? Some brothers pulled some gas, so I said, I'm stuck.
Since these girls peeping me, I'm gonna glide and swerve. These hookers looking so hard, they straight hit the curve. Want to bigger, better things than some horny tricks. I see my homie and some suckers all in his mix.
I'm getting jacked, I'm breaking myself. I can't believe they taking Warren's wealth. They took my rings, they took my Rolex. I looked at the brother, said, damn, what's next?
They got my homie hemmed up and they all around. Can't none of them see him if they going straight pound for pound. They wanna come up real quick before they start to clown. I best pull out my strap and lay them busters down.
They got guns to my head, I think I'm going down. I can't believe it's happening in my own town. If I had wings, I would fly, let me contemplate. I glance in the cut and I see my homie Nate.
16 in the clip and 1 in the hole. Nate Dogg is about to make some bodies turn cold. Now they dropping and yelling, it's a tad bit late. Nate Dogg and Warren G had to regulate. I let my gad explode. Now I'm switching my mind back into freak mode. If you won't skirt, sit back and observe. I just left a gang of those over there on the curb.
Now they got the freaks, and that's a known fact. Before I got jacked, I was on the same track. Back up, cause it's on N-A-T-E and me, the Warren to the G.
Just like I thought, they were in the same spot, in need of some desperate help. But Nate Dogg and the G-Child were in need of something else. One of them dames was sexy as hell. I said, ooh, I like your size. She said my chords broke down and just sing real nice. Would you let me ride? I got a car full of girls and it's going real swell. The next stop is the East Side Motel.
To a whole new era, G-Funk, step to this, I dare ya. Funk on a whole new level.
The rhythm is the bass and the bass is the treble.
Chords, strings, we brings melody. G-Funk, where rhythm is life and life is rhythm.
If you know like I know, you don't wanna step to this. It's the G-Funk era, funked out with a gangster twist. If you smoke like I smoke, then you're high like every day. And if your ass is a buster, 213 will regulate.
Ooh, that was tough.
Yeah, I was about to say, yes.
Ooh, that was tough. You know, Warren G is the cousin of Dr. Dre. So
Yeah.
I'm sure there is some influence in the decision to use that dope sample to create that legendary, iconic song, Regulators.
Yeah, that was really, really good.
Isn't it? Isn't it, though? Isn't it? And so one of the things about Michael McDonald also from that documentary that was also revealing to me and not shocking, but like, wow, was the influence that an artist like Michael McDonald has and Christopher Cross has on Thundercat.
Yes, I love that. I love that, and I love that in Kenny Loggins. Like for it, when Thundercat was saying that someone asked him in an interview who like
he wanted to record with, he wanted to write music with, and he said, what did he say? Kenny Loggins and Michael McDonald.
Michael McDonald, yes. and to see them working together, like the three of them and performing together. I mean, like honestly, when I see things that are beautiful and kind and awesome, like it makes me emotional. Like it makes me tear up because it's like it's so dope, and especially because it's like they made this young guy's dreams come true, and Thundercat made their dreams come true because they're still relevant. Michael McDonald was like, I thought that I was going to be dead in the water, at the end of the 80s. And it's just like, he's like, he still isn't retired. You know what I mean? Like, he's like, I can't rest, it's a good problem to have.
And that's a beautiful thing. Oftentimes, once it catches on to the melanated community, then everybody else is going to latch on to it as well. So I think the fact that he got that support very early on in his career from the African-American community and the African-American radio stations helped push him into a different trajectory within the human experience.
Right.
I think non-melanated people started to listen to him differently once they realized, they probably didn't know he was a white guy either. Shoot.
Probably. Well, you know what though? There's like super sidebar. I'll have to find the account and send it to you. But on Instagram, there's a Michael McTrap account, and there's a guy who like over Michael McDonald actually performing, he does like trap songs in a Michael McDonald voice.
I love it.
And it is hilarious. It is just like, but the way that he edits the videos together is like everyone's always on beat, and it looks like Michael McDonald is really like fucking up some trap music. It's amazing. It's so
I don't
hilarious.
feel like anybody really has more of an iconic voice in that way than Michael McDonald. I mean, it's funny because every cartoon seems to have some satire of Michael McDonald. I think of Family Guy, I think of The Simpsons, I think all of these cartoons that play on satire, they've all incorporated Michael McDonald into their shows in some capacity because he's that iconic,
He really is. And I thought about us when I was watching the documentary. When they played a clip of The Simpsons, I was like, yep, Simpsons are like, they're always going to find their way into our fold. You know what I mean? Like,
well, because you're thinking about us, I'm going to play a song that's about us. Actually has us in the title. Not by any of the artists that we've mentioned thus far, but one of the African-American artists that would have been considered on the outskirts of Yacht Rock, but definitely has some tunes that have the Yacht Rock vibe. So I'm not even going to say too much more than that. I'm just going to play the song.
Because I'll figure it out. Yeah,
you're going to figure it out. No, I don't want you to figure it out.
I know. That's
I could give you more clues, but it's about us, Jewel. It's a black artist, and it sounds like Yacht Rock. I'm going to give you 5 seconds.
No, just play it.
Okay.
Play it.
Okay.
You won this round. Oh, you know what? I was thinking, Bill. Okay. Damn it. I should have gone with my first one.
I see the crystal raindrops fall, and the beauty of it all is when the sun comes shining through to make those rainbows in my mind. When I think of you sometime, and I want to spend some time with you, just the two of us. We can make it if we try, just the two of us. Just the two of us. Just the two of us. Building castles in the sky, just the two of us. You and I. We look for love, no time for tears. Wasted water's all that is, and it don't make no flowers grow. Good things might come to those who wait, but not for those who wait too late. We gotta go for all we know. Just the two of us. We can make it if we try. Just the two of us. Just the two of us. Just the two of us. Building them castles in the sky. Just the two of us. You and I. I hear the crystal raindrops fall on the window down the hall, and it becomes the morning dew. And darling, when the morning comes and I see the morning sun, I wanna be the one with you, just the two of us. We can make it if we try, just the two of us. Just the two of us. Just the two of us. Building big castles way on high. Just the two of us. You and I. Just the two of us. Just the two of us. Just the two of us. Let's get it together, baby. Just the two of us. Just the two of us.
It don't get more yacht rock than that sax.
I was just about to say. The 80s loved a saxophone.
Saxophone.
Oh my gosh. Can we just give a quick shout out though to Kenny G? I mean,
Yes. Yes.
I was in Phuket
Mm-hmm.
a couple of years ago, and Maya and I
Phuket is
walked.
in Thailand, correct?
Yes. Mhm.
Yes. Well, we gotta give people more reference, Drew. You know, everybody who may be listening to us may not be traveling around as much
Okay.
as us.
Fair play. So I was in Phuket, and Maya and I went to this restaurant, like a restaurant that was on the water, because all of them basically are. And we walked in, and motherfucking Kenny G was playing. Not the person, but like one of his songs. I was like, Kenny G just is everywhere. He just be everywhere. You know what I mean? I'm like, even in 2020s, you know, Kenny G is still rocking in Thailand.
Again, iconic.
Mm-hmm.
Iconic. Straight up
Forever.
iconic. Yeah, forever
I
iconic.
love it.
So that was Bill Withers with Just the Two of Us. Bill Withers and Grover Washington Jr. They're both credited on this song.
Yeah.
Those
are definitely yacht rock guys. They are.
Right. But I don't think people really throw Bill Withers into the yacht rock because there aren't no black yacht rock artists. But
there are.
But what I'm saying is that, you know, yacht rock isn't necessarily associated with black people, because even in the documentary, they were talking about the black woman who was making music, and she wanted her music to be a part of popular music, but they were like, nah, your music is soul music. It's R&B.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
and she's like, oh, so you're telling me who I am? Yeah.
Exactly. So he wouldn't have been considered in the soft rock category. He would be in the R&B category. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
That's what I'm.
James Ingram too.
Exactly. But at the same time, there is something unique about his lyrical content in his songs that differ from some of the other yacht rock artists. I identify, I guess, more with Bill Withers' lyrics, and they seem a lot more, what's the word I'm looking for? Like the very first line of the song, I see the crystal raindrops fall, and the beauty of it all is when the sun comes shining through. It's like a metaphor, but it's actually literal. You know what I mean? Like, there you can visualize it and relate to it in a different way, you know? I don't know.
But like his like grandma's hands. You know what I mean? But like
exactly.
He's very, very visual, you know? Even when he's being metaphorical.
Hands clapped in church on Sunday morning. Grandma's hands played the tambourine so well. Side story, you know, we got stories about everything.
Yeah.
So the last time I saw my grandfather for his, I think it was like his 82nd birthday, shout out to Lester Starks. I performed for him to that song. And the ironic thing is, I don't know if you remember, if you were living in Philly around that time, I got my tonsils out one year. And this was the summer that it's the summer before my last year at UARS. Yeah, so you wouldn't have been there yet. So I got my tonsils out, and there was a malpractice. Essentially, they had snipped an artery, and I lost half my blood.
Oh
I
my
swallowed
God.
half of my blood for like a week, and then I ended up going back to the hospital and hemorrhaging and throwing it all up.
Oh my God.
So you remember I'm a vegetarian at this point.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
when they're trying to, I'm in the hospital recovery room, and they're like, "Oh, you should probably start eating meat to build up your iron and build your blood back." And I'm like, "Nah, I'm not gonna do that. I'll figure it out." But
Jeez.
about a month after I got out of the hospital was my grandfather's birthday. And I had already committed to performing because I'm the performer of the family. Everybody's expecting Mikey to perform. So I choreographed a dance to Grandma's Hands. And mind you, my grandmother was there too. Both of my grandmothers, my grandfather's first wife, who's my biological grandmother, and then his second wife, my step grandmother, who's still around today, they were both there. So it was not only for him, but it was for them as well. So I choreographed to that song, and I danced, but I almost died literally at the end of the dance because
Lord.
I didn't have all my blood.
Yeah.
So I was extremely lightheaded. I finished performing. I remember I went out into some side room and was like, my head was spinning, everything was pounding, like everything was throbbing, and it took at least 15, 20 minutes for me to just kind of like settle my energy again. But
Oh.
love that song.
Yeah.
I was so grateful that, you know, the creator was with me to make sure that I had that opportunity to present that for my grandfather and my grandmothers. And so Bill Withers speaks to me in a really deep emotional way, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
grateful for that, and that's just a little sidebar for Grandma's Hands.
Yeah.
I
Wow.
wasn't trying to make you all emotional, Ju. Like,
No, I'm not crying, but I'm just like, but I'm just like, wow, I never knew that. I never knew any of that, you know, so I'm happy that, you know, you're still with us.
yeah, I mean, you know, it's not a story that I share all
Like,
the
hey,
time.
guys.
Yeah, hey, I almost died. You know, and it's funny because, you know, at this point in my life, my mom was working for JCO, which is like joint accreditation for hospital care. Essentially was a troubleshooter. She would travel around the country evaluating clinics and hospitals to making sure that they were up to code.
Mm.
So when this malpractice happened, and like I come to, my mom is sitting there and it's like, "So what you gonna do?" And I'm like, "You think I want to sue this hospital?" It's not in my ethos. That's not the type of person I am. I understand.
Well, you don't have to be litigious to
No,
get people to act right. You know what I
yeah,
mean? That
but
doesn't
here's
make
the
you
thing.
litigious.
Yeah, I understand that. But at the same time, I also recognized that being a doctor is a practice.
Yeah, I was
They're
gonna say,
not the
yeah.
creator.
Mm-hmm.
And the funny thing was, the last time I went in, because I went into the hospital like twice before they realized that they were cauterizing the wrong parts of my throat, and they weren't looking far enough down to see that an artery had been snipped. So the last time I went in and I threw up the 9 pints of blood, I'm still smiling and laughing. And these people are looking at me like, "Oh my God, we've never seen anybody in your condition still smiling and laughing." And I looked at them and I was like, "Look, if y'all don't fix me, I will die."
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like
Straight up.
that's what it is. Like
Yeah.
my life is in
Wow.
your hands. So
Yeah.
I didn't hold any malice towards the doctor for what they did. And it wasn't necessarily his fault that they didn't catch the fact that I had been swallowing my blood for a week. The ironic thing was when I came to, my mom was sitting there and there was this Jamaican resident that was also sitting there.
Mm-hmm.
And so the Jamaican resident is like talking to me and making sure that I wasn't planning to sue. And they sent in a Jamaican because they
Of
assumed
course.
that I had some Jamaican ties because of how I look. You know what I mean? So I thought it was funny. But at the same time, I just looked at my mom like, I have my whole entire life ahead of me. I'm beginning this fledgling career as a performing artist. And, you know, I had already done my first commercial tour. I was like, this will take a lot of time and energy for me to focus on trying to get this money. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, and then it would actually ruin this doctor's life. Do I really want to do that? It's a
It
practice.
doesn't necessarily, just so you know, it doesn't necessarily ruin their lives. That's why they have insurance. Like
yeah.
they have massive amounts of insurance.
I understand.
Just for, anyway, we don't have to, that's another podcast.
But it
So,
could.
Yeah, it doesn't affect them personally, but go ahead.
Right. No,
Like
so
financially, personally, but yeah, go ahead.
right.
Anyway, so
No, they're not gonna lose no money over. But needless to say, it wasn't in the type of character that I am to take the time to actually sue a hospital.
yeah, no, I mean, you have other shit to do.
I
But
did
yeah,
at
I'm
that
happy
point.
that you're with us.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
yeah.
at this point, being the artist that I am and the expenses that I have, I sometimes wonder, like, damn, I might have been a millionaire.
You would have been. But anyway, so
Back to Yacht Rock.
you back to Yacht Rock. Okay, I have two things I want to talk about.
Uh-huh.
One, how is Hall Oates not Yacht Rock?
Well, but I think they said it in the documentary. It's because of where Hall Oates was from. Hall Oates
Yeah.
was already in Philly. You know what I mean? Like, they weren't necessarily like these guys in some white environment that were influenced from afar. Like I don't know why they said specifically, but like they said that they were already so immersed in the urban culture that it didn't make sense for them to be a part of Yacht Rock, even though their music to us is straight up Yacht Rock.
Honestly, I would have lost money. You know
Yeah,
what I
me
mean?
too. Me too. I would have lost money too on Hall & Oates if somebody said, "Is Hall & Oates Yacht Rock?" I would have been like,
Fuck yeah. 10 toes. Yeah,
Down.
for sure.
But why? I don't know. I think we have to look more into that. I think Hall & Oates also they are kind of in a group of their own. Like
Yeah. Kind
Hall
of
&
like
Oates is just like Hall & Oates.
Yeah. It's kind of like, do you think not the same, but like kind of like Simply Red?
Yes, like a Simply Red. Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course,
just like
he's
Simply
not.
Red is like his own thing.
Yeah, his own thing. But Hall & Oates, as soon as they said that in the documentary, I was like, what do you mean? Man Eater is straight up Yacht Rock.
Right. Sarah Smile. I mean, Sarah Smile is like,
oh,
Yeah.
gosh. Yeah.
like,
I didn't
I
even
put that on the
really-
list.
I didn't even
I was
realize
like-
I knew that song until you said it. And I was like, yep, I know that song.
Yeah,
Another thing about
like-
Yacht Rock, the osmosis of Yacht Rock, how it sneaks into your psyche
Dude.
without you knowing it.
Dude. Yeah. So that one was like, I'm still kind of like, I don't know that I agree with them on that. I'm going to say, I don't know.
I don't disagree with you on that, like that it should be considered. And I think,
Yeah.
I think we should play that song just to, not for
Yeah.
shits and giggles, but so that whoever is listening can understand why we feel as though Daryl Hall and John Oates should be included in the Yacht Rock, soft rock category.
And we know where their name comes from.
where does it come from?
Unlike Toto, Hall & Oates, we know where the fuck that comes from.
That's like their names.
Yeah, exactly. Like, boom,
Unlike
got it.
Toto, yeah. Okay, so here is Sarah Smile by Hall & Oates. Pure Yacht Rock.
I mean, this is absolutely Yacht Rock. Go ahead, guys.
Baby hair with a woman's eyes, I can feel you watching in the night. All alone with me, we're waiting for the sunlight. When I feel cold, you warm me, and when I feel I can't go on, you come and hold me. It's you and me forever. Sarah, smile. Oh, won't you smile for me, Sarah? If you feel like leaving, you know you can go. But why don't you stay until tomorrow? If you wanna be free, you know, all you got to do is say so. And when you feel cold, I warm you. And when you feel you can't go on, I'll come and hold you. It's you and me forever. Sarah, smile. Oh, won't you smile a while for me, Sarah? Sarah, smile. Oh, won't you smile a while, Sarah? Oh, won't you smile a while for me, Sarah? Oh, smile a while. Won't you laugh, Sarah? Make me feel like a man.
Dude, that is yacht rock. Kick
It-
rocks. Dude.
Yeah, kick rocks. That's yacht rock. Kick yacht rocks. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm not in the disagreement with you. I'm in total agreement that
Yeah.
Hall Oates is yacht rock.
You know, the other thing that I enjoyed about the documentary is like it's one of those things I never thought about consciously before. But when they were talking about like yacht rock is emo music for men, you know,
It
men who are
is,
in
though.
therapy,
Yeah.
or men who, you know, like they brought up the thing that you said before about Paul McCartney not going to therapy because music was his therapy.
Uh-huh.
But it's just like, yeah, like I never thought about it, but it's like the guys are just like, it's love that didn't happen, love that they wished it happened, love that they wanted to happen, love they had but they lost. You know what I mean? Like, you know.
It's all love, though. It's all
Yeah.
love. It's somehow interconnected to love. Because we are children of the 70s and the 80s. I want to play more Michael Jackson. I want to keep coming back to Michael because I was baffled. Like I have literally had to go back and like listen to every song from Off the Wall and Thriller to be like, yo, that's yacht rock. That's yacht rock. That's yacht rock. So I want to play another.
Before you go into it though,
Mm-hmm.
one of the things that I was like when I was watching the doc, like also I love the little play on words they did when it was like a documentary, DOCK.
Right.
Something that I never thought about before was they were talking about the Thriller album and how they put it together so fast, and it was like kind of like a hodgepodge of genres,
Yes.
all in one album. But it's like to me, it never felt like that. It never
No,
felt like
it
it was
felt cohesive.
hodgepodgey. Yeah, absolutely.
But it was
absolutely.
It was a reflection of Michael's eclecticism. And
Yeah.
that's
You're
why
just gonna
he's the
rock
king
with
of
it because
pop.
it's Michael.
Yeah, that's why he's the king of pop, because he
Yeah.
literally touched every genre
Mhm.
of music and put
Yeah.
it on one album. So you
Yeah.
can't call it an R&B album, you can't call it a rock album, you can't call it a jazz album. You got to call it what it is.
Yeah.
Popular.
And that's how you get over the system. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Do what the
true
fuck
that.
you want to do.
True that. True that. So I want to play another Michael song though. I want to play. I'm not even going to tell you what song it is, but because we're in the yacht rock mind frame, you'll hear it
Okay.
immediately.
Okay. Yeah.
Come on.
Totally. Totally.
Come on.
Totally. Oh my God. I gotta add this to my Yacht Rock playlist
Right?
immediately.
See, that's where it gets a little funky
Yeah.
though.
Yeah.
That's a switch up.
When the world is on your shoulder, gotta straighten up your act and boogie down. If you can't hang with the feeling, then there ain't no room for you in this part of town. 'Cause we're the party people night and day, living crazy, that's the only way. So tonight, gotta leave the 9 to 5 up on the shelf and just enjoy yourself. Groove, let the madness and the music get to you. Life ain't so bad at all if you live it off the wall. Life ain't so bad at all. Live life off the wall. Live your life off the wall. Live it off the wall. it off the wall. Live life off the wall. Live your life off the wall. Live it off the wall. Do what you want to do. There ain't no rules. It's up to you. It's time to get alive and party all right through the night. To hide your inhibitions. Gotta let that fool loose deep inside your soul. Wanna see an exhibition. Better do it now before you get too old. 'Cause we're the party people night and day. Living crazy, that's the only way. So tonight, gotta leave the 9 to 5 up on the shelf and just enjoy yourself. Come on, yeah. Let the madness and the music get to you. Life ain't so bad at all. Live it off the wall. Life ain't so bad at all. Live it off the wall. Live your life off the wall. So tonight, gotta leave the 9 to 5 up on the shelf and just enjoy yourself. Yeah. Let the madness and the music get to you. Life ain't so bad at all. If you're living on the tonight, gotta lay the 9 to 5 up on the shelf and just enjoy yourself. Living on the wall. Let the madness and the music get to you. Life ain't
Off
so
the wall is Yacht Rock.
100,000 trillion %.
Yeah. I mean, but we wouldn't have known. I mean,
These are facts. These are facts. But yeah, like the stacking of the vocals in that specific way, like, yeah.
and the horns.
Mm-hmm.
Bennett, like with the hit of the horns, like,
Yeah.
it's so jazzy.
Yeah. So jazzy.
It's so jazzy. I love it.
Me too.
I love this show.
Me too. I do too. Like, I was so excited, so jazzed about doing this show. I was like, yeah, man. I mean, I listened to the edit for the last episode, like no fewer than 7 times because that was just cracking me up. But I was like, yeah, this one, like, I'm really gonna love this because it just touches it it fills that part of me that like I feel like I don't get to talk about it enough.
You don't get to talk about her white side, so we gotta give her some space
because
to show her white elbows out.
I mean, because it's Maya, ironically, and like a lot of other friends, they love to point out when I'm hyper in touch with my white side. They're like, "Oh, that's the white part of you, Joel. Oh, that's the white part of you, Joel." I'm like, "It's all good. I love all of me. I live in
I love
it,
all
so.
of you too, Jewel. And I think I think it's beautiful that you make sure to embrace both sides of your heritage. I think the fact that you understand that those two kind of things that are seemingly on polar opposites make you a whole person. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like I don't have a choice, I mean,
well, you do. I think some people cater to one side or the other.
Mm-hmm.
They can. Like, some people I know of mixed heritage will only focus on the black side of their identity, and vice versa. Some people that I know of mixed heritage will not even acknowledge the black side of their heritage, So I
guess maybe it's a gift that, like, because it's where it stems
Lucy
from
is a gift.
That's
you know
what I
I mean.
Was say.
Lucy is the gift because Lucy is not your typical non-melanated person.
Yeah,
She's like one of those people I would refer to as like she's a white woman but has a black woman's spirit. She has like a black soul.
I told you the thing about the pics, right?
The pics,
the hair pics.
Oh no, let's get that story. Tell me the hair pick story.
Okay, so my whole life, my mom used picks for her hair, and they were like the Goodies picks, like the company, the brand.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And she always used them, and she was just like, oh, they make my hair, fluffier, because my mom's hair is like super fine and straight. And so like that's why like my hair doesn't have any volume to it. It's curly, but it doesn't have
I
volume.
understand. Yeah, I
You
get it.
know?
Yeah. It just falls.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like the strands are not thick. They're
Yeah.
not, and the curl isn't thicker or has more of a coarse texture. So anyway, so I didn't think anything about it. And then, whatever. And then like after she passed away, we were cleaning out like different things, and I just kept finding all these fucking pics everywhere. And then it dawned on me that pics are used by Black people. And I was like, this woman my whole life has been using pics, not like in her brain, it was not being ironic. She wasn't being ironic.
No, she
was
just using what she liked.
Yes. And then because like I think that I didn't associate it with anything. I know that Black people use pics for obvious reasons.
But you didn't know that white people didn't.
Right.
You know, it's like that episode of Chappelle Show where they family swap, where they husband swap, where Dave Chappelle goes to live with the white family, and he's like, they don't use washcloths.
Well, so that's the thing. Is like I didn't know that like that's okay. So let me just finish the picture. So like because the pigs were also like I didn't make the association because the pigs were like different colors. There's like pink, purple, blue, like whatever. Because she had a shit ton of them. Like literally, I'm telling you, we threw away no fewer than 10. Right. No fewer than 10. And like that's when she was like gone. So who knows how many she lost over life? You know what I mean? Whatever. So when that whole thing came out about like people of the not global majority, like not like using washcloths, I was like, what? What are you talking about? Like, because I grew up in a house like we use washcloths. You know what I mean? So
again,
like
Lucy ain't your typical non-melanated lady.
We're like, what do you mean? I'm like, that's not true. Yeah, of course white people wash their legs. Of course they don't use the same things for the same, like blah, 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 blah. And like, it's like, of course white people rinse their meat. Like, what are you talking about? Like, no, like this is ridiculous. And then you see all these people online like, no, I've never, like they're on podcasts like, I don't take a shower except once a week. And I'm like, who are these people? Like I still believe those are rarities. I don't
No,
believe,
it's European. It's European. It's European. Trust me. I lived in Europe. Some of these people don't bathe every day.
Well, that's a different podcast. Anyway, I'm just saying that
it's a show, Jewel. We're no longer calling this a podcast.
I'm sorry, it's a show. Yeah, it's a show. This is different. It's a different show. That's another show. But anyway, so yes, like I grew up with my mother using pics, and you know how flat and straight her hair was.
I do.
So she just was like, it gives it volume.
But I could see her using the pic. I could totally just see her like using the pic like a comb.
For sure, she did. She did. My whole life. Like,
I've seen that.
Bless her. Anyway, so that's one of the big story. But so yeah, but this is like Yacht Rock is a part of my life because this is what I listen to. I listen to this in addition to Stevie Wonder and Minnie Riperton and and like it's like an Earl Clue and like it was just. It was everybody.
It
was everybody.
It was eclectic.
Yeah. She took her sister to the Rolling Stones concert when they came to Atlanta.
Oh, dope.
She loved what's his name?
Mick
Yeah, she loved Mick Jagger. She loved Eric Clapton and Santana. So like that was her and Uncle Lo's thing. They would go to concerts.
Those are classic rock artists that kind of, and they were around in popular music where popular music actually had a message, so that's understandable. Jewel, It seems as though we might need to do another edition of Yacht Rock.
I think so because we have to get into like some of these songs that we did not.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I feel like we need to do a show where we kind of listen to the songs and then analyze them.
Yes.
And the level of appropriateness in today's society in relationship to as to when these songs came out.
Yes. Number one
Africa,
song will
Toto.
Yes. Yeah. No, and like in the messiness of it all. Like, you know what I mean? Like, yes.
But this was fun though. I like this one.
Yeah.
So you said we're going to close out this particular show with the lead singer of the Doobie Brothers.
Yes.
Michael McDonald. Oh, but this is the Doobie Brothers though. It's like when he was still with the band before he went solo,
Before
right?
okay.
Yeah.
I think so, yeah. Mm-hmm.
What a fool believes.
Man, this is like, dude, I'm gonna be singing this shit for like a week straight. I love it. I love it.
All you gotta do is just play the episode back in
Yes.
black. Back in black. Well, Jewel K, this has been another great addition to our show. We are no longer calling this a podcast. So we're changing all the ads. We're just gonna tell y'all straight up. We initially came into this thinking we was gonna do a podcast, but the reality is that it's a radio show.
Yeah.
This is talk music radio.
Yeah,
this is
which
the
is
only
great.
time on Ras Mikey C radio where you'll actually hear people talking. Until I get more time to actually do more shows. But I'm happy that one of my first regular shows is with my sister friend, Jewel K. Estefanos.
Me
And
too.
like I said before, Jewel, one of these coming shows, we need to unpack names and
Yes.
talk about our names and where your name comes from, where my name come from, how I got my kids' names, where my name come from. Also, in relationship to Maya, Philip did reply after I sent him the clip of how we mentioned him and Maya and the song. And so he got back to me and he was like, no, that was great. He was happy for the shout out and happy for the love, but he did make one correction. He was like, I did not go to school with Bobby McFerrin. I said, in my head, you did. I said, I don't know why. That's always been a part of my narrative about you, is that you went to school with Bobby McFerrin. You know what I mean? Like, and so he's like, no, I did not go. I was like, all right, well,
Would
I'll
it be
scratch
funny
that.
if like he and Bobby McFerrin were actually like beefing it behind the scenes and we had no
No.
idea about it?
I know.
Like,
I always thought they were, though. Like, secretly, I thought they were.
the drama, because like
But
it would be the most hilarious, like the two most peaceful, joyful people like in music, like actually have beef. That would be hilarious.
So that was a fact, because we don't fact check on our show. So it's really, I'm realizing that as I go back and listen to the show, and then I'm like, wait, I don't think that was exactly accurate. So coming back to a few, and I feel like we're gonna have to go back and listen.
I know
to
we're gonna have to have like a corrections corner episode.
Remember when I was talking about, I think it was the Lakota tribe, and we were talking about Mount Rushmore. And I said that they built Mount Rushmore in the Black Mountains, is what the Lakota tribe would have called that area. It was actually called the Black Hills. I just wanted to because I knew I had said it wrong once I said it. And I was like, what's the name, though? So it's actually called the Black Hills, and it's sometimes referred to as Black Hills Mountain. That's where they built Mount Rushmore. So we may need to go back.
And in the last episode, it was Y2K that we were talking about.
It was Y2K. That's it. We couldn't remember the name of the computer glitch
we couldn't
thing.
remember that shit. Yeah. Also, I listened again to 1999, and he's not referencing the year 1999.
No, he's not.
He's referencing it being 2000.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And everything's fucking up.
Yeah,
and I'm like,
everything
yo,
in 1982 though.
He prophesized Y2K in 1982.
I'm telling you, Prince, we already know Prince is prophetic. He was ahead of his time.
Yeah. Anyway.
We can go on and on.
We'll weave in little corrections from previous shows into future shows. It's fine. We're human beings. It's all good.
This has been What You Say with Jewel K.
And Dr. Ras Mikey C.
And you can follow us at RMC_radio on Instagram for Ras Mikey C Radio. And
at Bright Jewel, BrightJewel.
And if you want to follow me specifically, much like Bright Jewel, it's just my name, at Ras Mikey C, on all social media platforms. And soon we will be uploading these episodes. We'll have a YouTube channel, so we'll be sharing that with you as well. So
by the
tuning in.
By the time the next episode airs, we will have that up. So
okay, cool.
Yeah.
That's what's up. Jewel, I love you like cook food.
I love you too, pal. Thank you so much.
And I'm going to close this show with A phrase that I used to say on my old radio shows when I used to host college radio in Ireland. I would always close with this thing that I read from a Russell Simmons book. And his book, Do You, he says, do you, because everybody else is taken.
Facts.
And we will close out this show with the Doobie Brothers and What a Fool Believes. Until the next time, Juke, stay blessed.
Love you. Talk to you later.
Peace.
Bye.